Hello everybody, Incon here, and this is going to be part of our new YouTube exclusive series, guys. We had just started with some of our new series where we've got gameplay. We're going to go through the supports and be playing those on a weekly basis, just going through the motions, and I'll be talking about during those gameplay guides what I'm doing, and to kind of just explain as everything's happening throughout the game. We had done one with Athena. We'll have one with Ares this week as well, and we're going to be looking to do about one of those a week. But this is a totally new series, guys, that I've had often requested, which is a top 5 supports. I may bring it into other roles, do something like top 5 ADCs, some roles that I'm comfortable with. You know, I lane with ADCs all day. I know what ADCs are good right now. But definitely support, obviously, is where I have most of my knowledge. And so this is going to be a top 5 supports for the best supports in the game at the top level. So this may not directly reflect on the top gods that you see in your generic play. But these are the gods that are either top 5 in SPL right now, or since it's off season, the gods that I would expect to be top 5 in SPL as we go through scrims and we go through the motions of that. So we're going to get right into this, guys, with number 5 here. Your 5th best support right now is going to be Athena. So Athena, very, very strong support. A lot of people, I think, expect her to be maybe stronger right now. She can be very hard to deal with throughout all tiers of play. And so let's talk about why that is. One of Athena's biggest strengths is that she has almost no weaknesses, okay? So she may not be the best in a lot of things outside of mobility, but she doesn't really have any weaknesses. So she has her dash, which is also a slow. So good mobility can be used to initiate, can be used to escape, plus it has a slow on it, which allows you to get a little bit of CC off, let your team catch up to people, combos well with the rest of your kit. Athena's taunt is one of the better CCs in the game, but not the best CC in the game. But it's very strong, and the reason why it's so strong is because of how many people you can hit at the same time, and just the generic effectiveness it is at burning beads. So what you're going to want to do with Athena a lot of the times is you use that dash, go in, you taunt, you burn beads, and then you reset. 20 seconds later, you do it again. They don't have their beads up, so they're going to die. One problem with Athena is that she doesn't, like I talked about, she doesn't thrive in any subject. So her CC is good, but not great. We have definitely some gods in the game. Kumbhakarna better at CC than her. Bacchus better at CC than her. She does good damage, but not great damage. Guan Yu does more damage than her. Bacchus does more damage than her. Ymir does more damage than her. And she doesn't have any team buffs, say like a Fafnir does. She doesn't bring that sort of standard to the table, but she is a very good starting point for support players because she has that initiation capability to get in and to get out, as well as the fact that she's pretty safe. Her passive, giving her block chances, I say block chances, just blocks, period, up to 3 on auto attacks can be very strong, especially late game when you are avoiding crits from hunters, because crit is, very into the hunter builds once again. And of course, you can't forget her ultimate, being able to move around the map. That is her biggest strength, is mobility. Her 1 combined with her ultimate give for incredible strength in the mobility department. So that's her biggest aspect, and that's what you need to be abusing if you're going to go ahead and be playing Athena. Feel free to rotate to that solo lane because you can ulti back over to the Gold Fury. Make sure you're spreading the map with Athena because it's going to be the one thing that you have over the other supports in the game. Moving on now to the 4th best support in the game. We're going to be moving on towards Kumbhakarna. So Kumbhakarna is by far and away the best overall CC in the game. This is very important for support because it allows him to have great initiation, and he also has the best peel out of any support, no question. So let's kind of talk about why that is. So first of all, his passive allows him to play very aggressive and not necessarily get punished for it, because nobody wants to focus Kumba because if you kill Kumba, he goes down into his passive, then you have to focus him even more to kill him. It gives him a very Fafnir-esque in his ultimate feel, where you just don't want to be looking to kill him because you know they've always kind of got something up their sleeve. When you go down in your passive, while you are a big target, it takes a lot of pressure off your team, and even if they kill you in that passive, they have to waste, 6+ autos, even at the early stages of the game, just to bring you down, which is going to give your team a lot of time to beat on the enemies. He has very good lane clear. His throw minion is very strong. If we go ahead and look at his abilities right over here. Throwback does a ton of damage when you throw the minion. It's good poke. It's also decent for initiation, allowing you to get in and use your meds. So now we're going to start getting into why he's the best peeler in the entire game for support. If those of you out there want to be the one that saves your teammates the most, this is the god you should be playing as a support, because nobody else can save teammates like Kumba can. So step 1, Groggy Strike. At level 1 in this ability, which is all you're going to get in this ability until the very end of the game, it's the last ability that you level, it is a 2-second root. 2 seconds of root, which is absolutely insane. Almost every god in the game has a scaling length on their root. Kumbhakarna does not. It does a flat 2-second root, which is basically what every other god's max root is going to be at the end of the game, and he gets it at level 2 because you're going to get this as your second ability. That's going to give you tons of presence, and it's only a 10-second cooldown, and there's not any DR on roots, which means that this is going to be a 2-second root every single time that you use it, which is crazy. Absolutely amazing skill. You rank it up as your very last ability. Mighty Yawn, probably one of the single best support abilities in the entire game. It does so many things. Okay? So first of all, it's a mez for up to 3 seconds, which is ridiculous. If you hit 4 people with this at the end of a game, so you're in a team fight, they have 2 options. 1, beads a mez, which sucks. Or don't do anything in a team fight for 3 seconds, which is, by that point, somebody or multiple people are dead. If they break out of this, they are slowed for 2 seconds for 40% and an attack speed debuff for up to 50%. This is huge towards the end of the game when you're using it on ADCs, Nemesis, Kali, Mercury. Tons of gods are affected by this. Not to mention, you blink and use this ability, and it's easy to hit 3, 4, 5 people of the enemy team and forcing them to use actives. Finally, the best peel ability in the game, let's be honest with ourselves, is a banish. Everybody knows Kumba ult. You can use this to initiate on a target, combine it with a Poseidon ult, combine it with Kukulkan ult, Janus ult, doesn't matter. Janus, unstable vortex. It's very hard to dodge. The only way you get out of this is by using beads. Even if you use Aegis, you're still going to go up in the air, and by the time you come down, your Aegis is going to be off, so you'll take the damage from that, plus whatever they lay down for you. And you're going to take a bunch of damage. It's a relatively low cooldown. By the time you build a little bit of cooldown, it's under a minute cooldown for this ability. Great setup, great peel. There's only way to avoid this ability, unless you flat out miss it, is going to be preemptive beats, making Kumbhakarna one of the stronger supports in the entire game. Third up on our list, we have not a Guardian. We have our only not Guardian on the list is going to be Guan Yu. So, Guan Yu recently got a buff nerf, and then they reverted it a little bit to just be a buff. So Convection has 20 stacks. They had made it 30. They decided it wasn't strong enough. They brought it back to 20 stacks. Every one of his abilities can be affected by this painless passive now. And they buffed his heal. So at level 1 with 20 stacks, your heal will do 130 hit points of healing to yourself, to your friends, to your minions. Which means that Guan Yu has the best clear out of any support. Over Khepri, over Ymir, over everybody, because you get those conviction stacks up with your Tallow Assault, and you heal your wave at level 2 for 130 HP, and they cannot clear the wave fast enough. So you will always win lane control unless you're laning with something immensely bad at lane, like Artemis and you're against a Neath Khepri. Like, very few situations you're going to lose lane with a Guan Yu. Other than that particular situation, or they just straight try to fight you early because they think they've got a better fight. This ability late game, 370 hit point heal when you've got the boost on, 185 flat. By the time you get your cooldown with the Guan Yu builds, this ability is going to be on about like a 3 to 4 second cooldown, tops. Tops. Of course, he's got Warrior's Will, which now with the new passive can slow up to 60%. This is the ability you're going to want to use the least with your passive. It's going to be the least effective, but it actually does quite good base damage. As far as support base damage goes, it is immediate when you dash through them. It's good for stealing objectives once you get towards a little bit towards the mid game. It's also, of course, very good for body blocking because you dash through targets. They're by a wall, dash through them, just stand still. Takes them an extra second to walk around you. Once again, a very low cooldown on this ability. One of the biggest positives of Guan Yu is going to be Talon Assault. This is going to allow you to win early game lane clear. It's going to allow you to shred objectives of their protections, giving you a way faster kill time on them. You're going to shred protections on the enemies, especially if you have the boosted passive. At level 9, you'll have this ability max rank, or level 10, depending on how you're going to level up your Guan Yu. Upwards of 45 protection shreds, you can see there. 15 max of 3 stacks. That's 45 protection. It's not just shred, it's stolen, so it also goes back to you, which is absolutely crazy. You pair this with a physical jungler and an ADC, and it's going to be massive, massive damage on anybody that you decide to target. It's kind of gross, actually, when you really think about it. Not to mention you can get away with building a little bit of DPS into a Guan Yu kit. So you combine that with this, and just the base damage on this skill is ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous base damage, Cavalry Charge, which is not only a great initiation skill, it's not only a great early game kill skill just to do flat damage to your enemy, it also now has a new bonus feature if you have your full painless stacks, where the stun is 2 seconds long and the slow is 40%. This is also one of the highest base damage skills in the entire game. If you swing through, you can cancel it early to get the stun off early. It's great for stealing objectives because you go in, you stun everybody, and you Poseidon Kraken after it. Whatever. You Vulcan ult. Doesn't matter. One of the strongest kits in the game. Also, he works well in other roles. You can get away with him in the jungle. You can get away with him in the solo lane. But as far as support go, he's going to be one of your strongest supports, and he is the only non-Guardian on this list. Alright, we're down to the nitty-gritty. Our second strongest support, who has been very, very strong in the very early seasons, and he's been very strong recently, is going to be Bacchus. So the unique part about Bacchus here is going to be that his laning phase is not the strongest. In fact, out of the gods that we've talked about so far, he has the weakest laning phase out of these gods. But his entire kit is going to make up for the fact that he has a weak laning phase. So first of all, he's the tankiest support out there because of his passive with Chug. So Chug, when you drink it, is going to give you protections just by using it for a duration of 6 seconds. But also, when you get up your passive meter, you're going to be taking percentage less damage. Bonus protections and percentage less damage, not to mention magical power, because why not? On a Guardian also pairs very well with the current build, getting things like Vanguard as a later item. So you have your flat damage reduction, plus your percentage damage reduction, plus your protection bonus. So many ways to reduce damage on this god. Extremely tanky, very hard to focus, and yet he still does incredible amounts of damage. He has Belly Flop, which is the best singular CC ability for supports. It's because it's a knockup, and there is absolutely no way to get out of a knockup other than preemptively beating the knockup. It's the only way. It's on a fairly low cooldown for a knockup, 16 seconds. It does a high amount of damage. If you're tipsy, a lot of people don't know this, Flop also slows post knockup. So So this ability is not only great peel because there's nothing the enemy can do about it, it's also the best initiation and the best instant kill tool you're going to be getting on supports. You flop somebody up, they have to go through the entire duration where they're going to be able to get hit, and they're going to come down onto the floor and they're going to get wally-womped by your entire team. Absolutely the best skill. Can be hard to hit, but absolutely the best support ability as far as direct CC goes. Belch of the Gods. This ability not only is going to do pretty decent damage, but it's a healing debuff, which is actually decently important. There's a lot of meditations in the meta right now. Some healers are starting to come back into the meta right now. Lifesteal, of course, a little bit into the meta. So all of these things you're going to be reducing with your healing debuff just by using Belch of the Gods when you've got a little bit of drink in your belly. And of course, it is also a stun. So he has a second form of CC. He has a stun, which is a very strong form. And then he has the knockup, which is the strongest form. And finally, of course, he has the most aggressive support ultimate in the game. It's basically a straight damage ability. You're using this on as many people as you can. It's going to do a lot of burst damage, especially early. You combine this with a flop on 2 or 3 people, and you're just absolutely decimating a team fight by yourself. It's going to give you a magical power buff for the rest of your abilities that you use basically during that fight. Not to mention, it's giving them intoxication, an extremely annoying form of crowd control that you either have to beads or you've got to deal with not exactly hitting all of your abilities. Even pros will miss things or miss walk because they're drunk and they can't exactly control where they're going. His set of skills combined with his tankiness makes him the most reliable and one of the most hard to deal with supports once you get into the team fight portion of a game, because you don't want to focus Bacchus, but he's also going to do a lot of damage to you, so you have to find out how you're going to deal with that. And finally, we've made it to our number one support right now, which we're going to have a lot of what in the comments here on YouTube. But it's going to be Fafnir. Fafnir is going to be, as of right now, assuming nothing would have changed from this exact moment, he is going to be your number one picked and banned support in Smite for the SPL. And we're going to talk about why. So first of all, he has the best support passive in the game. Flat out, no argument, he has the best support passive. Honestly, even better than Bacchus, whose passive is amazing. He has Watcher's Gift built into his system. He gets a free Watcher's Gift that stacks with Watcher's Gift on the gold. So you're getting 8 bonus gold from everything instead of 4 for the most part, generically. Not to mention, he also gets bonus protections up to 1,000 gold in hand. He will get 30 bonus magical and physical protections. That's basically a full physical magical health item that you're getting in protections if you have 1,000 gold. And you're always going to have gold in hand. Except for that exact moment when you go back to buy your item in the next 45 seconds, you're always going to be getting at least like 5 protections from this all the time. Extremely strong and makes Fafnir one of the tankiest supports in the game outside of Bacchus when he's really drunk. Cursed Strength, which is a great ability which recently got buffed. So Fafnir does a decent bit of damage. This is going to be the ability you level first, and it's your lane clear. It slows for 40% at max rank. It's also a huge 1.5 second stun, which is crazy. It was 1 second. They buffed it to 1.5 seconds. When you're in dragon form, it does quite a bit of damage. And more importantly, it's going to pulse out the slow when you're in your regular form. And when you're in your dragon form, it pulses out a protection shred debuff that if you use in the middle of a team fight when everybody's grouped up, it's going to hit the entire team for 40% protections. That means you can basically kill anybody at any time with this ability. Huge, huge shred. Think Guan Yu if Guan Yu shred was just on steroids. Now, this is what really puts Fafnir over the top, is the ability Coerce. This ability is going to be what you level up second on Fafnir. You level up your 1 first for your clear and the damage. You level up the 2 second. You can work. You don't have to get the 1 to max rank if you don't want to, but you're going to want to get a couple points in it so you can help clear waves with your ADC until you're getting out of there, skedaddling. Then you get Coerce. 50% attack speed bonus, okay? Which means that this pairs ridiculously well with gods like Freya, Sol, Kronos, any assorted ADC at all, plus those mages with auto attacks. 25% bonus power, which is why I really like Fafnir with mages, like the Freya Chronos, because you can give them the attack speed and the bonus damage. And not to mention it heals yourself, and it's got a fairly low cooldown of only 13 seconds. This ability is what puts Fafnir over the top. It's single use, except for you use it on somebody, you jump into a team fight, use your ultimate, and then you use it again on your entire team in a circle. You're going to shred Fire Giant within like 6 seconds with this ability. The Gold Fury won't even spawn by the time it's dead. Phoenixes stand no chance. The enemy team cannot win a team fight if you have this buff on you, because you are doing 25% just flat more damage, not even including the attack speed, which means that like on average you're doing like 40% more damage for 5 seconds. Ridiculous. Moving into underhand tactics, this is going to be your jump. It is a 2-second disarm. 2 seconds of disarm, 1 point into this ability. Think Kumba Root being 2 seconds long at 1 point. 1 point into this ability, this is going to be the last ability you level up, is 2 seconds of disarm. Extremely effective against any of the mage ADCs, or of course any flat ADCs. Basically what you want to do in your fight is you want to be jumping in on them and disarming them at the start of the fight, and then buffing your team and doing whatever you need to do. But then you go into your dragon form, you use this ability again, and it will stun them for 2 seconds in addition to disarming them. So you can disarm for 4 seconds. To be fair, you can't chain this ability exactly together because the dragon animation takes so long. But the point being, you're going to have 4 seconds in a team fight of disarming your kit. Not to mention 2 of it is a stun on top of your other stun. Finally, you have your dragon form. Now, coming out of the dragon form is really crappy because you are able to get hit as this dragon when you're going back to being a dwarf. And you have to be very careful with your timing on that. But when you're going into the dragon form, it does a couple things. One, it's a huge circle area where people do not want to stand in, which means this is a great zoning ability. Use it right by the Gold Fury. People don't want to walk through. Jump past the team and then use it behind them so they can't run away. Nobody wants to be in the circle, take that damage. Second of all, you are immune to damage while you're transforming into the dragon, not out of the dragon, which means this is also a built-in Aegis to his kit. If Poseidon uses Kraken on you, use that ability immediately. You will take no damage from it, and then you can probably kill Poseidon yourself. And then, of course, you're going to get decent damage. You're going to get all the stuns and all the bleeds that come with using this dragon. Now, Fafnir is not probably the strongest support when you're playing casuals and ranked, but in a team situation, because of Coerce, because of his disarms, because of his stuns, he is going to be your #1 support that you're going to be seeing in SPL if he does not get nerfed, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know down in the comments how you liked it, guys. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, have a twitching day, y'all. It's the final countdown. Ba-da-ba-boo. Ba-da-ba-ba-boo. Ba-da-ba-boo. The final countdown.